Hello and welcome back to My Life's Toil with me, Neil. Thank you if you're returning to see how things are going with me since my new regime, which includes 5 milligram doses of Mounjaro for my healthy lifestyle, which is an ongoing project. Now, it's 5 milligrams that if you watch the last video, you'll know that I've split them into two 2.5 milligram doses, and today being Wednesday will be the second dose. Now I skipped the previous dose because of adding towards me not being well. There's a few things that's going on. The antibiotics work well. There was an infection going on, which seems to have cleared up, and we're getting there with that. So that's really good. And thank you for all the well wishes again from the people there. Now I know that my therapeutic range of the drug tirzepatide in my system will have vastly dropped off. And I've been getting some really good advice from Rob, who supplied me with the graphs on the previous project. And I'll pop that up briefly here for you to have a look at, which has helped me sort of see how split dosing is going to help me. And if you see the dose and have a look at the video from last weekend, you'll see how that was explained, how it's going to work or how it could work for me in the system and not be so strong, but will be prolonged over the week, which is something that I'm really looking forward to, because at the moment I know there's been a drop off. And just talking a little bit about that. So I jabbed on Sunday. So this is now will be about 3.5 days by the time I take the next injection. But there has been a massive drop off. There's been no real side effects. I did have a little bit of loose stool about 8 hours after taking the actual jab that seemed to clear up quite quickly. That's one of the main things. And constipation's the other one, which has been another issue with me on these jabs. But the cravings were quite hard to deal with, and we've been talking, haven't we, about using a bit more of the willpower, looking for the future as well, that we've also been chatting about as well for when we come off the jabs altogether, because not everyone will be on this maintenance dose that we've been talking about as well. And for I would imagine a lot of people at some point we will be stopping using Mounjaro altogether. So this is the end game that we were talking about, isn't it? So yeah, I found it really difficult, even on the Sunday night. I jabbed on Sunday morning, and there was just like cravings there, and I really had to use the willpower. I've stayed well within my limits. I haven't weighed in, and I won't be weighing in until the weekend as usual. But I had put a little bit on in that sort of interim period where I hadn't dosed. But at the same time, I have been doing this resistance training, which is what I'm going to show you. Leads me nicely on to a little bit today. Now, a little bit of a disclaimer here. I'm not a physical trainer, and I've got a lot of the information for what I do for me that seems to work well, and it's as enjoyable as it can be. I've set up in, as you can see, my garden here. I have the equipment. I've brought some cheap stuff. I've got some bands, and I've got myself a bench and some fairly low weight dumbbells. And that's all I've got. And a lot of people have shown an interest in this, and it's nice to think that just we're sharing this positivity, and it's getting people wanting to do more. For those people that can, not everyone's able to do too much in the way of physical exercise because of ailments and physical issues and restrictions that way. But like we've been saying before, any sort of resistance training to try and just keep that fitness level up, burning calories, and also to ensure really that the muscle wastage and using when we lose weight, we don't just lose body fat, do we? Which again we've spoken about, and you can research this as well. If we don't do anything resistance training wise, and also doesn't have to be like heavy training, just keeping ourselves nimble and just getting out there and moving around, your body will use the muscle as well for fuel as well. So it's not just the fat that will go, it's also the muscle. And now I've noticed that this has been the case with me. you'll notice areas in yourself, and there's people out there that have been really worried about doing this. So I'm going to show you some very basic, and it's not going to be all about this today, so bear with me. I haven't done stuff like this properly for many a year, and certainly not on camera. Now, this was one of the reasons why I stopped using the gym, because of feeling that people are watching me. But I'm going to show you what I do with the dumbbells on my bench. You can use this just on the floor. You won't get that full range of movement that you will get on the bench, but at least you're doing something. And I'll show you a little bit of the bands as well that I've got that can help, because it's not all about you don't need to use weights. You can use these resistance bands, and we'll show you them in a minute as well. But I'm just going to show you one set of everything I do. Otherwise you'll be here for an hour and it'll be quite tedious and boring for you. You don't want to watch me doing a workout, really, do you? So let's get on with that, and we'll chat a little bit more, and we'll do the jab towards the end of the video as well this week, show you the half a dose that I'm taking, and hopefully it can inspire a few people to get moving where they can a little bit. And I do appreciate that not everyone can do this, but for those that can, hopefully get us all moving a little bit, won't it? So let's get on with it. Now, I've actually brought some very, very cheap weights. Now, these look heavier than they actually are. I think let's have a look at the weights on these. 2, 3, 4. I think there's about 5.5 or 6 kilos there. It's not heavy at all. It looks heavier than it is. That's like the lighter dumbbell I've got set up. And then I've got a slightly heavier one, which is about 7 and a bit kilos altogether with everything together. And again, it's not a lot of weight there. It looks heavier than it actually is. The other ones, and again, these are available off Amazon, are these little dumbbells here. They're 3 kilos a piece, and just that little bit of resistance. We'll get onto it in a bit. And then we have these bands here, which come in different colors. Now, you can use these individually. If you look at these, and they've got hooks on the end. Now, you can get just the bands themselves without all these hooks on, but these were only like about £15 from Amazon, these were. And they come with handles and ankle straps for doing different exercises. Like, so you can attach one band or as many bands as you like to this, and then you sort of stand on them. And I'll show you this later on, just to do certain exercises. And they're quite good. Now we'll get on to showing you some of the actual exercises I've been doing. Don't judge. Now this is the little weights bench that I've brought. It's a very simple bench, but you can do all sorts of different things with this. So you've got this where you can sit it up, but then you can have it set flat, and then you've got different ones in between for doing different angles and different exercises to work different parts of the body out. And we'll go through some of this today. I'm not going to blind you with everything today, but the other thing that it's good for, and I've started doing sit-ups on this, is you can decline it all the way down. You can also bring this up and down as well. But if you really want me to, I'll put the links of these in the box. I think I did before on one of the previous videos. They're really cheap. These dumbbells here have cost me about 20 quid, £20 or something like that. And they're off Amazon. Where else do we go these days, like I say? But so I'll be using the bench. If you get like a gym mat, or if you do it on the carpet at home, you can lie down nice and square. Just be careful how you do things, just slow movements. Don't get overstretching your back or anything like that. I've got a history of a bad back anyway, so I am really careful. But literally all I'm going to do here is I'm going to lie nice and flat, get comfortable on the bench, and I'm going to press these dumbbells ahead of me like so. Now, I'm not going to go over the top with it. I have been doing, and it might change as I move forward, as I get used to things. It will be 3 sets, so that means 3 lots of different exercises, and I'll be doing 15 repetitions of each. Right, so get comfortable, make sure that you can manage the weight, and then all I'm going to do is bring the weights together up here like this. So I'm working my main chest muscles basically, and just easing them like this. That's 2, 3, 4. Don't forget to breathe. 5, 6, 7, lovely day for it, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So that is one set done. So that's that. And so I'll do 2 more of that. And the more reps on the lighter weight would be more beneficial to me. So some of these, I even take it up to 20 repetitions and just staying on the lighter weight. The idea is to get that burn in the muscles, the more muscle mass that you've got without being huge. I'm not looking at bodybuilding, but the idea is to burn more calories. And so another 2 sets of them. And some of the times in the last week or two, I have gone up to 20 just to get that extra few in. But you do what you're comfortable with. And I'm sure there's plenty of people that will comment on advice and what works for them and different variations, ignore the wasp, of something that might work for you. You might do it slightly different, and you can combine different exercises as well. But the next one I do after that, and this is what I've been doing the last few weeks, it works, is basically bringing this up about halfway up and doing the same again. And what that is doing for me is basically just using the higher up muscles in the chest. So because I've changed angle, so it's changing the muscle that we're working. So let's do 15 of them as well, shall we? Get yourself nice and comfortable, get that ready, make sure you can manage the weight, and we're heading straight up again. We're bringing that round like this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Feel that in the shoulder a little bit as well, at the front of the shoulder. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's just starting to burn in the chest and shoulder areas there. Pop them down nice and gently. So then the other thing is having the rest between the sets as well. Now, there's variations of this exercise, isn't there? So you can do it like on a timed sort of, where you get as many as you can in a certain amount of time, and then you'll have a timed break between the actual sets. What I tend to do is have 30 seconds to a minute to recover, just relax everything down, concentrate on your breathing, because breathing's obviously good to feed the muscles that oxygen and to get that carbon dioxide out as well. When you take oxygen in, that's feeding all our cells what it needs. The more exertion you do, that's why your rest rate goes up, because the demand for oxygen is there. When the cells use that oxygen up, they throw it back out of your system in the way of carbon dioxide. So the more you use your muscles, you need the oxygen in, you'll need more. So that's why our breathing goes up, our heart rate goes up, to get the blood pumping to those cells, to those muscles, and obviously to get the bad air back out again as well. So breathing is very important, and good breathing exercises would be beneficial as well. So just concentrate on good breathing, nice deep breaths, especially while you're exercising in between. The last thing you want to do is hold your breath, struggle with a load of things, and then pass out at the end of it, which could happen. But then I incline the bench up right to the top, and I concentrate on doing the shoulders. Now, what I have done recently on this one is what they call, and I've seen this on the internet, and this was a channel that someone recommended to me, they combine 2 exercises into one here. And one of the exercises is what they call the hammer curl, which is holding the dumbbells that way. But you do them together, and then you extend into pushing up working the shoulders. So you're basically working the front of the arm, which is the bicep or the biceps, and also the shoulders as well. So let's do that. I've already done 2 reps, but and I'd aim for 10 of these. I'm not quite fit enough and strong enough to do the 15 on these yet, but this is how this pretty much looks for me. So both together, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nice drawn out breaths. 9. 10. That's it. I nearly went on then, didn't I? So you can get carried away. It's important to try and at least reach what you want to. If you're not feeling them working, if you're not feeling that exertion going into your muscles, and by exertion, by that sort of pain that you get, it's like a burning when you know that you're getting to the end, you're getting to your limit, but not so much so that you're going to pull yourself and hurt yourself. That's the main thing here. We talk about listening to our bodies, don't we? So it's about taking your body to a certain limit, whereas it wants to rebuild itself, and that's what's happening with your body and your muscles with this, to put it really sort of plainly and basic. After that, what I do is I still use the bench, and I do bent over rows with the dumbbells again, which I'll show you now. So this one now is a little bit awkward for me. One, because you need to kneel on the bench here. There is another variation that people do of this, and they're called bent over rows, which is where you hold your dumbbells and you literally bend over and you're bringing the dumbbells in like this. Now, with a lot of people out there with their aches and pains, and we've got all sorts with polymyalgia, fibromyalgia, and just generally people that can't do a lot, which is why I'm going to let the bench do most of the work for me. Just got to be careful with my knee, because obviously I had the surgery on that. But it goes something like this. So I'm putting my leg out the way over here. I'm supporting myself up on here, and I've got the dumbbell in front of me, keeping my back nice and straight. I'm holding my tummy muscles in, and then I am singularly rowing this dumbbell up to the side here. So I'm working the left side of my back, literally like that. Try not to use your arm muscles with this, because you want to concentrate more on the back. So I can feel it really on the left side, sort of just around the left side of my axilla and into my back. But it's a nice sensation rather than it feel like it's pulling, which is obviously good. Holding that tummy in, because it still takes muscles to hold your belly in. So if you can go around pulling that belly in, you're working some of your abdominal muscles. So we do 20 that side as well. So that's the rows using the bench. Let me just try with the lighter weights, the bent over rows for you, because I don't do these, but the last time I tried it, I really felt it in my lower back. So just be careful with it. There is a correct position to do this. So literally just put my head off, bending your knees, back straight, head up, and you're literally pulling like a row. Now that feels quite comfortable actually, and that will be working the muscles around the scapulars on the back. So that's another one that we can do, but only do what you're comfortable with. And I've noticed only in the last couple of weeks I've been able to build up to these different exercises, and one in particular I want to show you using this bench is sit-ups. Now I don't mean I'm going to go all out and wreck my back, because sit-ups, when I've tried them since I had surgery, I've mentioned it before on the channel, on my back I've had all sorts, and a lot of us here we have got a lot of existing medical history that stops us from doing things in the future. But I think it shouldn't stop us from trying, should it? I know that, with the history, with my knee, with my back, and other surgeries and other medical conditions, it sort of makes you feel, especially when you hit your 50s and above and beyond, you sort of give up a little bit. But I think one thing I want to share is that since I've started this journey on Mounjaro, it's really opened my eyes into what we are capable of. Now, the feedback that I've got from people I know, people at work, friends, family, about how I've changed since I've been on Mounjaro, and you look healthier, you look fitter, you look slimmer, you look younger, people have been saying to me, which is really good. Although I haven't felt it recently, as you know. But it's sort of, if you take a step back and say, do you know what? I do feel better, and just having that that positive feedback, it sort of makes you want to do a little bit more. So take it and run with it, but just hold yourself back. Don't get overdoing it and ease into it. Long story short is, since I've been doing just the last few weeks out here, and I have been dodging rain showers and things, but I have got underneath the shelter there that I do when it does rain. So if you've got a little bit of space where you can set something up at home. Now, I have ordered one of these mats because I'm going to show you doing it on the floor as well. Because obviously you're going to be restricted when you do like anything with the dumbbells, like the bench press, you can bring your arms back as you can't on the floor. But it's still possible, and I'm going to do that. But if you've got the space to do something, give it a go, because the other thing, after you've done this, it makes you feel like $1 million. It really does. You feel really good. The chemistry, it gets the blood pumping. It just makes you feel much better, and it gives you that buzz to do a little bit more. Now, initially, as we know, your weight might fluctuate a little bit in the wrong way, because, and someone mentioned in the comments, because I said that I'd put a couple of pounds on, having met my initial target of 17 stone, and then suddenly I was a couple of pounds over that again, which I'm anticipating that will take a few weeks. But you will retain a little bit of fluid, because ultimately we are breaking down the muscles and the muscle fibers in the body, and the body goes into protection mode. So it's like if you sprain your ankle, it blows up, doesn't it? And that's fluid protecting the ligaments, the muscle, whatever you've torn or whatever you've damaged. And microscopically, on that sort of level, you're doing that to the muscles in your body as well. So that's to be expected. But as we progress and as we get into the regime of being fitter, and just our body becomes accustomed to what we're doing, that fluidity should calm down, and it will just become part of our life, and the body will get used to working it. Like the burning, like the pain that you get in the days after, it sort of subsides a little bit. So let's get on to what I was going to show you with these sit-ups that I've been doing. Excuse me, which is really good. Now, this is where this bit of the bench here, there's a pin here on this one, and I can bring this right up, which this suits me. Now, bear in mind, I'm 6'4". This bench really works well for me, and I got a really good deal on this bench. So if you want the link for this, I'll put that in there as well. I'm assuming you can get it worldwide. It's made in China, but it's sold through Amazon, and I think it's been a godsend for me. So literally, all I'm going to do, I'm going to keep that where it is, but don't forget, as I progress, I'll drop that down. But at the moment, I want the support from my lower back. And all I'm going to do is, got these, I think you can see, I've got some foam rollers here. My feet are under there. I think that's just out of camera shot, but they are there. My feet are under there. In fact, I'm glad you can't see my feet. I've got the slippers on. Put something more suitable on. But here we go. And I apologise, because usually when I do this, my t-shirt rides up, so you're going to see my belly, but it's all in, for a good cause, isn't it? So I'm now going to steadily just drop back until I'm lying flat on the bench. And then I'm going to cross my arms here. And then from flat, I'm going to tuck my chin onto my chest, and I'm literally going to raise just over 45 degrees up, then lower down again. And then that is working all down here, my stomach muscles, and these muscles into my legs here. Psoas muscles, I think they're called. That's going back to medical school a bit. And then I'm going to aim for 10 because that's normally 2, 3. If I do any more than 10, 4, I'll be chuffed. 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I'm feeling that burning. 9, 10. I'm going to carry on. Let's see if we can do another one. 11, 12. 13. Oh my God, it's getting easier. Oh, that. Oh, that's ridiculous. That is, I've surprised myself there. Right, I'm not going to do all the sets and reps, but I would do another. I've just done, I think it was 15, it may have even been 16, it may have been 14, but when you're not talking to people, just remember to get your counts in. I'm chuffed with that because I struggled to get 10 in, so there's improvement, it's moving up. Now, obviously you can do this on the floor. I'd suggest making sure you've got somebody to anchor your feet down if you've got someone that can help you, or if you can get one of those contraptions that you put under the door or something, just to keep your feet down. Bend your knees, and even if it's just gently off the floor, just something just to bring your tummy muscles back into life a little bit. Now, if this is hurting too much, if it's hurting your back, if you've got back history, speak to someone first, maybe a doctor or a physio, just to see if it's suitable for you to do this. Now, I think I've mentioned this before, where sit-ups was something that I couldn't do since my back surgery. But I find that this bench just raises my legs into a nice position, and I've got the back support on the bench, and it's not actually hurting the back like it used to, but I feel that it's working my tummy muscles, which is really good. The alternative for this is a little exercise that I've been doing on the bench again, but this can be done on the floor quite easily, and probably more easily. So everything's flat here. I'm going to put my bottom right on the edge of here, and then it's literally like just raising the legs up. So I'm going to take my slippers off, you don't want to see them, and I'm going to just anchor myself down, head back, stretched out, and then holding my legs off here so I can feel some pressure here where I'm keeping my legs elevated, and then gently I'm just going to bring my legs up slowly and back down. And it doesn't put as much effort, or you don't need as much effort as you do for the sit-ups. But if you do this whilst you're holding your tummy in, don't stick it out, hold it in, and really try and concentrate on those muscles, bringing that in. This is a really nice introduction into getting those tummy muscles back into life. And just do 3 sets of these, but do as many reps as you probably can with this without hurting yourself. And then just holding them up. You can feel this right through into your thigh muscles as well, which is something I really need to build up on, because especially since I had the knee surgery only just over a year ago, my legs haven't really had a lot to do. But we will be getting onto the legs shortly after this. And that's that there. So just stretch out, hold the tummy in, and just keep doing these. And relax. And there we go. So there's a couple of other things that we can get round to doing now. So I'm going to move the bench out of the way a little bit, and then I'm going to show you what I do with my legs. This comes with a handle, and it's not heavy, but apparently it holds 600 pounds in weight, so I should be all right, shouldn't I? Right, I'm going to show you just a very basic squat, which is something I used to hate when I was a kid, and it was something I always skipped. So here we are, just basic dumbbells. There's a couple of ways of doing this. Feet should be, let's try and get you in the picture here, so I have to stand quite far back, shoulder width apart with the feet, and all I'm going to do is hold that nice and secure. I'm keeping my back straight, my head up, and I'm bending right into the buttocks here, keeping the back straight, no pressure on the back whatsoever, That's 1 rep. And I only do 3 sets of 10 of this, going down as far as I can that's comfortable. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now, at the time I do these, it doesn't seem like a lot of effort. But you know, in the few days afterwards, the afterburn for the few days in all of my legs, it's been tremendous. It's been absolutely brilliant. And that's what we're looking for, isn't it? So, right, the next thing I was going to show you was using these bands. And you may have already noticed, don't worry, I'm not on a tag. These are these little Velcro-y ankle straps that come with these. Now, this set of bands, they're about £15, like I say, from Amazon. Really inexpensive way to get started on something like this, to see if you want to give it a go, really, to see if it's something that you're up to. And you've got some quite heavy duty clips on here. The idea for me with this is, if I put this flat again and then bring this back up here like that, so doing these leg extensions like this. Now, it's not perfect, it's not like being at the gym, but we've just done the squats, which can turn that up. But if we can then just anchor this round here. Now, I did this, I think I had to do it from the back here before. Now, be careful, because if you get it on something that can unlatch, it can be quite sharp. So, tie yourself up like this. Now, with these, you can double up, treble up, quadruple up the band. So if you find that as you get more through the exercising, you find, oh, that's too easy, you can add as many bands as you like to it. But I'm going to literally, so come in here. Now the band is stuck around this end, so because they're quite long, and all I'm going to do is bring it up like that. And that's what we've got. Leg extension. In fact, I'm just going to readjust this. So what I've done is, to do this leg extension here, I've got the band, I've got the back is sat up, and I've got the one end of the band around the back, so it's not going to snap off and smack me in the back of the leg or anything, so there's nowhere it can go. And there's just a nice bit of pressure on there now. And then we've got leg extension set up already, so now that's quite light, that is. It's on the heavier band, but as I say, we can double up like so. So let's pop this one on there and then chase that round there and onto the other one. So I've got 2 on there. Oh, I can feel that straight away. Don't go too much. There are lighter weight bands. I've got the 2 heavier ones here because, I mean, now that is absolutely, oh, you can feel that. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That'll do for that. And again, I would do 3 reps at that at 10, maybe up into 15, because I'm not about building the muscle, it's about toning the muscle for me and just retaining it, really. Although I have lost a bit of the muscle mass in my legs, which has been noticed. So that's that. Now, while we're at it with these bands, I think it's a good time to show you what we can do with them and these, because part of the deal with the bands come 2 of these as well. So these are the ankle strap things, which I'm going to take off now. I don't need them on. So you can put them, you could even put them around your wrist if you really wanted to, but these are the ankle straps, really. And there's loads of different exercises you can do with this. So I'll take them off for now, but let's show you what we can do with the handles. So just to show you the band, this is one of the heavier duty ones, not the top one, but it's only, there are equivalents to them. I think this might be like, I don't think it's even £10, but it's like lifting light weights. So if we connect to that handle there and the other end to the other handle, like so, you know where we're getting at now, don't you, with this? And then literally all you have to do then is put your feet under there. Now I'm going to put it underneath this little bar that I've got here as well. And you've got the curl now. Just to get that extra expansion, let me just get that there. Sit myself back on the bench. That's where the tension starts here. So ideally it could be further down here. But there are exercises that you can work the upper part of the bicep if you want to get all scientific and bodybuilding wise. But just that little bit there, you can start that feeling to work. So these bands are brilliant. And again, it was Ken, Cornet Blues, that suggested these. Great idea, Ken. And he says you can have these around the house. Now these ones you probably wouldn't want them hanging around the house. Ken has the ones, they're like flat bands, and I'll put a picture up of them. And you can literally have them curled up and just, if you're sat watching the telly, just do some exercises. Just make sure you do, if you would do one side, do the other side to match. But that's great, that is. And the other things you can do with this is, because of the stretchiness of them, you can do like these tricep curls as well. Obviously you'd set it up so it's behind you. And you work the other side of your arms there as well. But I'm going to show you how I've been doing it with the dumbbells. So I'm going to show you with the lighter dumbbell. This one here. Now I lie flat for this one. Now there's a reason why these are known around the gyms as skull crushers. You can probably get an idea of why they're called that, can't you? So don't be overzealous with the weight. Like I say, lightweight is the way to go. But this is how we work the backs of the arms to tone them up. Lie nice and flat on the bench. Bit of support for that arm there. Keep this part of your arm dead still. Then literally just the forearm moves, holding that weight there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She'll speed it up. It's boring, isn't it? 8, 9, 10. I could have probably gone on to 15 with the lower weights, which would be better for calorie burning. Left side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now with these, as you get more into it, and I don't do this, but I dare say I might do, you can use, as long as you're careful, you could do both together at the same time, like this. And you can even get specific bars that you can hold together like that. In fact, I have got something that can do that, but I'll show you that later on down the line. That is pretty much, apart from one more exercise that I'm going to do. So just get yourself nice and stood up. Now I do this in front of the kitchen window, just so you can see that you're nice and square on and just nice and comfortable. Literally got the dumbbells nice there, slightly bent at the knees so it's not all rigid, and we're literally going to do them both together, concentrating just on that part of the arm there. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and rest. Remember to breathe in between the sets. or the reps should I say. Yeah, I'm no expert, am I? And that is literally all I'm doing at the moment. And I have added a few extra ones in, like the other one that I haven't shown today is something because my calves have really got weak since I've lost the weight, and it's just holding the dumbbells and just standing on my calves like that. I have a little piece of wood that I do this with, so it sort of keeps my toes up and do that. But we'll do that on another date. Oh, the sun's gone in a little bit, which is quite nice actually, because I have got a bit of a sweat on now. Bear in mind, I've basically only done one set of each, just to show you what I'm doing on that. And it doesn't kill you. It did at first, but I'm getting more into it, so I'll probably end up doing more reps or even throw an extra set in rather than going up the weights, because for me, as I say, it's not really about building up muscle and going heavyweight. It's about exercising those little muscles that I have got and burning fat really and keeping hold of the muscle. So moving on to how things have gone since the first 2.5 milligram jab on Sunday. As I say, there was a little bit of a struggle with the food noise. I just haven't had much in the way of food noise since. But like we've been saying, I've got to build that range back up in the system now. So I'm hoping with today's jab, which we'll do in a bit. What time is it? It's just about 1 o'clock. I think around 3 o'clock I can jab. So we'll get that done about then, and then I'll get this edited and get it out to you. What I'm aiming for on Saturday or Sunday, depending on what happens, I think it will be Saturday, hopefully this week, is to do maybe some more questions, answers and comments, because I think there will probably be a few after today with this bit of an exercise thing going on. Just get your thoughts and comments in and advice really, especially around the bands, because I don't tend to use the bands so much, but I can see that they're really good. And as Ken said, just to have them around the house and just, if you're sitting there watching telly. Now, the actual bands that Ken was on about, they're actually loops like basically this. So it would be all in one. And imagine you're just watching your telly and maybe you just pop it under your foot or something like this while you're watching the telly, and you can watch Curry or the A-Team or something. Who watches the A-Team anymore? Make sure you swap arms and just get something moving, maybe some shoulders. Oh, that's the one I've missed out today on actually, but I'll probably do that later. Just nothing too heavy, but bands, great, aren't they? Zoom forward to just before 3 o'clock. It's close enough for me when I'm going to do the second half of this week's 5 milligram jab, which is 2.5 milligrams. So we'll go through it as I normally do. So Mounjaro pen, this is mine. It's all in date. I've inspected the pen. The fluid is as it should be. There's no bits in there. There doesn't seem to be any bubbles, but we'll get round to priming the needle as we always do. Anyway, I am excited about doing this now because I need to build back up, like I touched upon right at the start of the video. I just feel, got the wipe, we'll clean the seal on the pen, we'll get the needle ready, we'll get it all sorted and we'll go for it. But I am excited to get this into me this week because I've noticed a drop in the efficacy, the actual. Yeah, it's been great not to have those side effects, but I've had cravings as well, and I've really had to rely on a bit of willpower. So needle, as you know, so check everything, make sure everything's sealed as it should be. When you pop the needle on the pen, as I always say, keep it nice and straight as it goes on. Tighten it just enough so it makes a seal. And then we're going to make sure there's no bubbles in there. This top one comes off and we keep it, as I always say. This one here covers the needle, the 4mm needle, which is a 0.23mm gauge needle as well. I'm going to really try and get you to see that. Hopefully it's not too blurred out, because as I've always said, for those people that are worried about injecting for the first time, you hardly feel a thing. So when it comes to priming, the pen here has this little window, and as I've said many times before, we have this where we click it, and I'll be counting the clicks today like I did the other day, but we go 2 clicks to that longer mark there, which is the prime position. That means we hold the pen up there, the air bubbles up to the top, and then we give that a little squeeze, and we should see a little bead or sometimes a little jet, as you saw there. That now is primed. Now I'm not going, if you're using this for the first time and you're using it exactly how it's been prescribed, you'll literally turn that all the way around to 1, which is 1 dose. Me, I'm taking 2 half doses twice a week now, so I will be counting my clicks to 30. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Now, as a few people have mentioned, it's a good idea if you're doing this to mark the pin on the 30th click. So you're not counting the clicks like I just had to do every time. So that's ready to go now. So let's get it on my tummy and we'll get jabbed. So here we are. Welcome to my belly again. I went this side on Sunday, so I'm going to go this side lower today. So let me turn so you can see it. I'll try not to get the glare of the light from outside. Now I'm going to go about here. I'm all cleaned up since I had a workout out the back, and I'm going to go literally square on. I'll go left-handed so you can see it. Make sure it goes in straight, comes out straight, because I know that people have bent that tiny little needle. So to make sure you don't have any issues, sometimes you can pinch if you feel more comfortable because you're going into the fat. Straight in, and then you're going to squeeze that in all the way down. Sometimes takes a little bit of pressure. All the way, 5 seconds roughly, and then straight out. Easy as that. And then as usual, that cap there that we've kept goes on there. That's off. That's on. It goes, for me, back in the box and back in the fridge, as long as it's stored below 30 degrees Celsius, out of direct sunlight. That's why I always put it in the box, just in case, although it is in the fridge. The sharps box, make sure you don't seal it off until it's completely finished with. Bit of hand gel to finish off. That is, and I'm really excited to see how this works now, and I'll let you know come the weekend how things are starting to build up. As I said, I did have some more information from Rob today, which again, he always knows when to get in touch with me right at the right time, because I just needed reminding really that I will need to build it back up into my system, but hopefully it'll sort of get to the right range for me without giving me any of those nasty side effects. Might need to use a little bit of willpower again over the next few days, but I've only got to go to Saturday, Sunday. It'll be Saturday, I think, this week. As long as there's 72 hours between doses, should be fine. Now, as a lot of people have pointed out, yes, Mounjaro is a once a week prescribed medication, but many people now are choosing because it works for them, and if there's like horrendous side effects that people are having, and sometimes it's all about how long it lasts in the system as well, because we know the half-life is 5 days. Some people are jabbing every 5 days, some people every 6. Most people are still going every 7 days and it's working well for them. But I chose, after taking careful advice and discussing it with healthcare professionals, to stay on the 5 a week, but 2 half doses of 2.5s. It's still a little bit of a thing in motion. We'll see how it goes. I can't just give it 1 dose and say, oh, well, that doesn't seem to be working for me. We need to give it time. And as the information, and I'll put the chart back up for people to see how it looks as we take it, the 2.5s twice a week compared to the 5s. As you can see, there is some changes, but it will hopefully, as it builds up, last in the system better for me. So we'll be back the weekend. I'm going to do the questions and answers this week. Let me know what you thought about my little training session. I'm not a physical trainer. I am growing into this. Moving forward with the channel, I'd like to become a bit more au fait and a bit more learned and knowledgeable around the physical fitness side of things, because I think that could be the direction that we go in with My Life's Toil. I won't be on Mounjaro all my life. Now, when I started the channel, it wasn't all about Mounjaro. It was literally getting in shape because of my underlying health concerns, which one is well under control now. That's the blood pressure. whereas the cholesterol isn't. It's still quite high. It's better, but it's still dangerous levels. And my Q risk, which we do over here in the UK, is still high, still shows me as being a candidate for a heart attack in the next 10 years, quite a high risk. So I'm still working on it. So it's good that I'm bringing in the movement, the exercise, and generally having you guys helping me along the way doing all of this. In return, I hope I help you too. And that's what this, as we have all said before, is all about, because we've got some great friends, we've got a great community, and I really want to give that back to you because you've helped me. When I was so close to quitting the other week, you kept me going, and that really means a lot to me. So I want to do the same back for you as well. But at the same time, I need to try and keep it open for everybody, especially with the exercise side of things as well. Whereas there's some people that can't do what some others can do, and I'm really mindful of that, which is why you'll see me try and accommodate everybody with what I do moving forward. Ultimately, it is about where I'm getting in my life, and hopefully it can give that positivity and just advice and information. But do bear in mind that we are all different, as we keep saying, and results will differ from person to person. But regarding Mounjaro, regarding exercise, especially if there's any underlying and historic health or medical concerns, always get the advice from GP or a doctor that knows you. But let's have a really good half week. We'll speak the weekend, probably Saturday. Have a great week. See you soon.